Hi, I'm Ayana, and today I'm going to be talking about Old English and Modern English and how the change in language has altered communication. Some quick facts before we start this. A kinning is a concise compound or figurative phrase replacing a common noun. Words or phrases such as ring giver, which translates to king, or whale path, which translates to sea. And our next fact is Anglo-Saxons are a cultural group that lived in England in around the 5th century. So our key points for this presentation are the origins, which is when and where the language is spoken. Our second point is the language, details on the language and the sentence structure. So that's talking about the alphabet and how words were put together to make certain phrases and sentences. And our final point is evolution, the change between Old and New English and how that is evolutionized communication. So we're going to start with our origins. What is Old English and who spoke it, and when was this a primary use of communication? So we're going to be talking about where Old English was spoken in Anglo-Saxon Britain in the 5th century, around 540 to 1140-ish. You can see on this map here, it was spoken around here, and the language started in Germany. So again, this language was spoken by Anglo-Saxons, which were Germanic inhabitants who lived in Europe, and the language was compiled of many different languages from the amount of travel they did. This included German, French, a little bit of Roman. And then finally, for our origins, when we're going to be, this was between about 410 to 1066 AD. I'd like to note that Middle English does come between Old and Modern English. It was in the middle of that, as it says in the title, it was in the middle of Old and Modern English, and it's the closest thing we have to Modern English when looking at text from the past. Certain texts, such as Beowulf, have to be translated heavily to be able to understand it, because Old English isn't a language that's commonly spoken anymore, but texts written in Modern English are a lot easier for us to read because they share a lot of similar words, and people read those a lot more in English classes, which is who this presentation is meant for. Language. We're going to talk about the details of the alphabet, how things were pronounced, and how sentences were formed. So we're going to start with the alphabet first. So the alphabet was comprised of 24 letters. They all share similar letters to the Modern English alphabet now, but some letters held different meanings and different pronunciations, despite the look on them, such as letters like P. They were pronounced. And again, with the pronunciation, the phrase th or the had several different letters used to pronounce it. So a word that started with a P could be pronounced thorn or something like that. Kennings. I already spoke about kennings before, so we're gonna go into more detail about those. Words such as tailwagger, which is like a dog, of course, it probably wasn't used as much as it is now. Beowulf, English text that I'm currently reading in my English class. Beo stands for brave, and wolf either stands for, well, wolf stands for wolf, which is a kind of funny thing. But some of them can be really simple, or some can take a little bit more of a deep dive to understand. All right, and our final topic is evolution, how the switch between the languages has evolutionized communication. So we're going to start with our letters. Old English has 24 and Modern English has 26 letters. Modern English letters now have one leading most of the time, and they're pronounced how you would assume they are pronounced. Location, Modern English is spoken in a lot more areas in the world compared to Old English, which was only spoken in Anglo-Saxon Britain. And it is also a well-known fact that English derives from France, and so Modern English does still share certain words from the French language, but they're a lot less common compared to Old English. All right, in conclusion, the alterations between Old and Modern English are comprised of the language, the evolution, and the origins. And all right, thank you. With Hall, goodbye, and thank you. Okay, that's 7 minutes.